Hey, 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 oh, yeah. Hey, these people be funty hunty, funty hunty. I shared it. How y'all doing? Hi, Afro Hippie. How you been? Where you been at? What's going on? Thank you for joining. How's life been for you? Chef Ray, thank you for joining. You been chilling? That's what's up. I'm so glad to see you. So glad that you're here. Hey, beautiful sky. I still got my hair pushed over from me trying to restyle my hair, child. Anyways, girl, you know you looking good. Oh, thank you, Afro Hippie. You're so sweet. You've always been so kind. Thank you. I am on here I can't. Wear the hair clip. Girl, it's in the bathroom. I went to Leah's parents teacher conference and I just took the clip out and the hair just been sitting over there. Just sitting over there. Whatever. It'll be what it be. Welcome everyone. Welcome in. This is the After Party Podcast where your host is me, Portia O. Okay. And tonight, podcast episode recap is about my babies. Okay. Let me see what I can find real quick. Me and my babies. This episode is episode number 20. And I titled it, And Then There Were Three. Okay. So, even that is just like, So anyway, how we got here. There were 4 of us. And, for those of you that know my story, I am currently, separated, going through a divorce. And hi Elroy, what's up? How you doing, love? Currently going through a divorce, and because of that, you know, it was 4 of us, and now there's 3. And so I wanted to kind of speak to my babies, not kind of, but I wanted to speak to my babies and interview them. So they were my guest hosts or my guests on that particular podcast episode. And I interviewed them, asking them, how did they view mommy? You know, we had just experienced 2 big transitional periods from us going from our home that we share with their father to living with my mom for 7 months. And then I had got our own place, which was like essentially a 1-bedroom apartment. And I shared a room with them and everything. So it was a lot of like new things happening. And so I wanted to check in. And then also me starting the podcast, me starting my business, my small business, and like being gone for that all the time. Like mommy is out here getting to the bag. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to check in with them and see how was mommy presenting to them. How was I making them feel? What did they think of me? And all of that type of stuff. So, nope. I'm trying to see how I can add these boxes, child. Statement. Fun, fun. So anyway, let me box this thing, child. It ain't working. I guess I have to wait till somebody come up in the box. I don't know. But anywho, so yeah, I basically interviewed them and asked them 22 questions this episode, and their answers were quite hilarious, to say the least. Hey, Arthur. Thank you. I love you too. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Skylina, because I sure didn't know. That's all I had to do. But I could accept you. I forgot. I'm like, what? Anyway, so I asked them a bunch of questions about how they view mommy and what would they rate, essentially, just to pick their brain about how they felt about me. So one of the questions I asked was, what is something I always say to you girls, right? And I think this is really important to do with your kids. It showed me myself through their lenses and through their eyes, and it was just really cute and innocent. And also now I have a video of them, an additional video because I got 1,001, but a video of them like just being in their innocence and their purity and sitting in that, right? Yelp review for parenthood. Exactly, Elroy. It definitely was a Yelp review for parenthood. Tell mommy how she's doing, okay? So yeah, I asked them, what's something I always say? Of course, I think one of them, of course, said no, because they always say that. Mommy's going to say no. They be over there. I hear them talking, whispering, go ask her. No, she's going to say no. Well, you ask her. What? Mommy's going to say no. And then when I say no, they be like, see, I told you she always say no. Whatever. They don't understand. Another question I asked them was, what do you think makes me happy? And that question alone was very trying, because it was interesting for me to see how they filter my happiness. What is their perspective on my happiness, right? And so I think one of them said, or both of them said something to the extent of, oh, when we listen to you, that makes you happy, right? Can anyone see the host? You can't see me? Sky, unmute yourself. Hello?
I'm sorry. No, I can't see you. It's showing the live is paused. Oh, you can, Tam? Okay, so maybe I should drop and come back. Okay.
Hey, Tam. So yeah, I asked that question just to see, because again, this is right after some transitions, and I just wanted to see how they felt. Neither one of them mentioned anything about the marriage, which was interesting because I had previously been dealing with Leah continuously asking me, why you guys can't just be together? Why this, why that, why, right? And Daddy makes you happy. You guys love each other. That's what husband and wife do. Like that was her understanding and her grasp on the situation. So I was curious if she was going to say that on the podcast, like, well, being married makes you happy, mommy. You know what I'm saying? Like, good evening, Portia. How you doing? Transforming on a daily, period. I love it. Hey, Ryan. How you doing, love? So we're just recapping episode number 20 of Life Be Life and Podcast Season 1, which is titled, And Then There Were Three. This is when I interviewed my children. They were 6 and 3 at the time. So they're 7 and 4 now. But anyway, I just wanted to see how they felt with all the transitions. Again, I had left my marriage, and we left our home that we knew, and I moved in with my mom, slept on her couch for 7 months, and then I got us a 1-bedroom apartment, and we were sharing a room together. So I just wanted to see, in the midst of all this transitioning, and things, how they felt about mommy. And not that that's the totality of me, but just checking in with them. And as Elroy suggested earlier, I gave them a Yelp review for Parenthood. So I found it important to check in with them and see what they thought of me, right? So I interviewed them on this episode. So this question about what do they think makes me happy, and they said, it's listening to you, mommy, when we do things that you tell us to do, things like that. And I thought that was cute. And it didn't go so deep as, well, I thought daddy made you happy. You know what I'm saying? Thank God. But that also showed me within asking that question, even though they said themselves, like when we listen to you, when we do things that you ask us to do, you know, it still was kind of based in another person making me happy. But I really want to put off on them that you don't need another person to make you happy. You choose to be happy, and you don't have to, your happiness is not dependent on other people. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, it's still a work in progress. Sky said, checking in with the babies is so important, especially through life changes. Abso-freaking-lutely. Hey DP, how are you? I am wonderful. So yeah, another question I asked them was, what do you think makes me sad? And I was scared about that question too. Them people probably want to battle. They don't want to really get up here and talk, child. And so she was like, I don't even remember all they said. I probably should have watched this episode before I came on. This is the shortest episode, the shortest podcast I had recorded because they was acting up. We had to cut out a lot of not so gentle parenting moments. Like, hey, calm down. Both of them got up at one point of the podcast and was like, I got to use the bathroom. And just, I'm going to go to, like, man, we are recording. That's so unprofessional. A 6 and 3-year-old. Listen to me. But anyway, it was funny. And they were getting really anxious. You know, kids can't sit for too long. So anyway, I don't recall what they said thinks makes me sad. I think it was still something to do with them not listening, disappointing me, blah, 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 stuff like that, which was cool. Another question I asked was, I asked, how do I make them laugh? And they was like, oh, when you play with us, when you tickle us, when you do different things like that. Like, it was just really cute, fun, lighthearted stuff, right? I may have to do this 21 question exercise with my babies. Absolutely. I encourage you to, Sky. It's really cool. It's really cool. Right. Them folks should have done that. Oh, shit. Okay. So another question I asked them was, what do you think I was like as a child? Because, you know, our kids, they're kids, right? They're so innocent and pure. They pay attention to everything, but also, like, they probably ain't, like, thought about, oh, you were a kid. And even explaining my mom's and my relationship, I made it for the afternoon. Look at me. Come on, Jen. That's what I'm talking about. Period. Thank you for coming in, Jen. Even with my mom, me explaining me and my mom's relationship to them, because they know my mom, they call her Honey affectionately. And them, like, that's my mom. Don't y'all hear me calling her mom? That's my mom. And they like, wait, what? Like, yeah, that's my mom. I was a little girl like you, and she raised me, right? So, like, y'all call me mommy, I call her mommy. I was under her just like y'all was under me, like y'all be under me. So that's just, like, mind-blowing them, right? So I asked them how they thought I was as a kid, and they was like, we think you were like us, and, you know, stuff like that, you know, whatever. It was cute. Another question, again, the boxes are open if you would like to tell your story about speaking with your children. Again, my children are still fairly young, so I got a long way to go of check-ins, and I'm sure the conversations will get much more deep. Child, they be getting deep on me now, so I can only imagine when they're like double digits or teenagers, or, you know what I'm saying? So it's an interesting thing to watch. A wonderful job she did raising you. Thank you so much, Juma. Shout out to mommy. So another question I asked them, was how old? Oh, how old do you think I am? And I think they both said something in the 30s or the 40s or whatever, but they think I'm so old, child. Thank you so much, Legendary. And where is my mommy? Is on the phone with her sister, child. She'll be in here in a minute. Scott, did you want to say something, or were you just sitting there in support? I'm so sorry.
I'm doing both. I will say, and y'all might hear a little background. Those are my two babies, but um, with my kids, I do ask them during maybe like once a month, like, what do you want mommy to do more? What do you want me not to do more? What do you want me to do less? Most of the time, they say they want me to take them out more to every restaurant that they want to go to, and less is also yelling too. But kids don't understand not listening equals yelling. So these discussions are very needed, especially at the time. At the age that the kids are in.
Uh-huh.
It is very important for parents to check in, whether it's mother or father or both. And in that way, they feel like someone's concerned about them, they're being
Mm-hmm.
heard, and they have a safe space to express themselves. And that's really important at all age. Sometimes we grow up and they're like, "Oh, kids, just be there. You do what I say, not what I do," and
Yes,
that's not really how that works.
it's not.
These kids have feelings, they have thoughts, they see things that are going on, and to keep all those things internalized brings out bigger problems later on.
Absolutely. I.e., they grow up to be emotionally unstable, mentally unable to regulate themselves. Like it's a whole thing. So, it's good. Like she said, we have these conversations now. And you can start them young. Like at this time when we did this particular interview, but I've had conversations with them prior to me recording it. They were 6 and 3, and to hear their little perspectives and their little minds, and they're not so little. They're not so little. So we need to give kids more grace and more what's the word, child? Y'all know I be going blank. I still got mommy brain. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying. So like it is what it is. Hey James. Hi Kia Bia. Hi Legendary. Hi Tony. Thank you all for joining in. It's so important to let them not just know, but feel. Yes, come to me, please. That part, Jen. Okay. So that's so huge because I want you to feel, and I want you to feel safe with me. I want you to know from a very young age and all throughout your life that you can come to me, you can talk to me, you can, if anything is happening with you, you can speak. I'm a safe space for you. Hey, Blossom. It's not like I can't tell mommy because she's gonna be mad, and I even catch Leah doing little things like that sometimes with stuff because once upon a time I was super super hard on her with her schoolwork, and she's only in second grade, so that tell you how trash I was being at first. But I was it's so funny. Everything's all connected. Everything happens at a point in time for a reason. Today was her parent teacher conference for her second grade year, and I went there and her teacher was telling me what she's doing great in, what she needs to work on or whatever, and we were addressing some things, right? And overall, she's an amazing student. I know that I birthed her. I mean, come on, she's great. But that's not the point. But don't say you were being trash. I know, Joan, but I'm about to get to why I felt that way. And her teacher encouraged me with that too. So we had Leah in preschool. We were paying tuition for her to go to preschool because my parents did the best that they could with the resources that they had at that time, but I never felt the overwhelming amount of pressure or a level of like I had to be super great in school, right? It was more so like, you need to get A's and B's. You need to do good. Just do good, And if I brought C's home, it was never no pun. It wasn't like, it was just like, why you get a C in this? Okay, cool, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It was never no real urgency to like aim, reach for the stars and do your best. It was never no real talks like that, at least that I can remember. And so I always kind of felt like, I'm gonna do enough just to get by, right? That was my mentality in school. And the older I got, the, you know, that was just always my mentality in school. So, and it wasn't that I didn't like to learn, because I did, but I was just like, all I got to do is this amount. If a C is good enough, a C is what I'm gonna aim for. You know what I'm saying? So, we need Mama in here for verification. Thank you, Legendary. I can't set no gifting goals anymore, Legendary. I don't know if they have to do with that other stuff, but whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so I was just like, with my kids, I wanted to overly. Thank you, Blessing. Oh, I got this. Do I? Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you, love. Thank you. With my kids, I wanted to overcompensate for what I felt like my parents didn't do for me. Because I was like, if they were a little harsher on me as far as my academics, maybe I would have tried harder. Maybe I wouldn't have been so passive about it. Maybe I would have been, real mediocre in that way. And it was so funny when it came to my 8th grade graduation, and they give away all the trophies and all the things happen. And I only got, I didn't even get an attendance trophy. I don't even know what I got a trophy for. I think for trying or something. But I didn't get no honor roll stuff. I didn't get none of that. And my daddy made a comment at the end of the graduation, like, they only called your name to get your diploma. You ain't do nothing else all this time. You know what I'm saying? For gym. That's what look at mommy. I only got a trophy for gym. Because I was athletic, whatever. So I'll be back finishing up work report for an issue we have. Okay, no problem, Legendary. Thank you so much. So it was so funny. Exactly. That's what my daddy said to me at the end of my graduation. And see, we need a mama here. Exactly. Mommy, remember, it was just for gym. That's what I got a trophy for. But I didn't get no other accolades, no other recognition for anything academically, right? But I just really didn't feel the need to overly apply myself. But being an adult now and realizing, like, had I had that extra push, maybe I would have viewed my education much differently. Maybe I wouldn't have just settled with going to a community college. And there's nothing wrong with going to a community college. I want to be very clear. I just didn't see the importance at the time, even though I desired to go away to college. I didn't see the importance of it because of, first of all, my home situation. And second of all, I was just like, oh, well, you don't need to do that. Just do this bare minimum again. Just do the bare minimum, and that's satisfactory enough. But anyway, with my kids, I chose to be overly like, I'm going to be on their head, like, hey, I want you to take your academics seriously. I want you to do everything you do with a spirit of excellence. So anyway, Leah was going to preschool. The pandemic happened. And so I ended up being at home full-time, working from home. Leah was at home. I had a newborn baby. And I was like, we're going to homeschool. So I ordered a bunch of stuff off Amazon, went to Dollar Tree, decorated her room, turned their room into a classroom, right? And so I was really serious. I had got the subscription to this service and everything. But with Leah, she was 4. I was so hard on her. And I think part of it obviously was the pressure and the stress of being in the pandemic. Couldn't go anywhere. We getting used to this new normal of working in the house full time. I don't have no outlet. My husband getting on my nerves. I got this newborn baby. You want to be on my titty all day. It's just a lot. It was a lot. And Leah not being willing or not listening in the form, or thank you guys so much for the one side of that room. Yeah. Thank y'all so much for the gifts. Leah not being, she's used to this environment now of being around other kids and her teachers, and she loved it. And here I am like, you need to learn this. You need to pay attention to this while I'm trying to work on my laptop, but also, teach her and her lack of paying attention and stuff. And I was just being really hard on her, especially when it came to her numbers and things like that. Every time we did math, I would be stressed out. Because I was stressed out, I was putting it off on her. And so then I'm stressing her out, and she shut down. She get discouraged. My baby's an empath. She's feeling all these things, right? But at that time, I wasn't fully aware of all of that, of what I was doing. And even when I would be hard on her in moments, I would be like, well, this, in the back of my mind, after I do it, I'd be like, well, this is for her good. This is for the betterment, right? But I realized, again, she was shutting down. And I say it all the time, my kids are a mirror to my flaws and my imperfections, because I remember feeling that way when it came to math too. I was getting D's and F's at one point in math. My mom had to give me a math tutor. It wasn't that I didn't, well, it was part of it that I didn't understand the fundamentals or the basics of it, but I was doing just enough to get by. Like, I was a good test taker. I was good at certain parts of it, and I wasn't doing it how they taught it to me. I did it what made sense to me in my head. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But, so I know I struggle with that myself. So I was like, overly, you got to get this, because you're not going to be like your mama that can't do certain things because I didn't pay attention or I didn't care enough to get these fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, fast forward to now, I'm homeschooling my youngest, and Leah is in regular school, public school district, and she works and does her math and all the things, and she works and does her math and all the things, and so now, hey Ethan. So when she came in and they tested her for her math, and they was like, oh, you know, she's good, but she needs a lot of work in this area. And I was like, I know I'm partial to blame. And I told her teacher that today, like, but they got her. And now in schools, you don't even have to go get tutors outside necessarily. They have teachers in the school now that will take your kids in small groups, work with them, so the teacher is not left with trying to, you know what I'm saying, she could focus on the kids that are struggling in this area more. And so they had put her in that little program within school, so she get extra help. And even in these last few months of her being in school, she's made tremendous, like, leaps and bounds, right? And she was just saying, I did notice that she shut down and some of the things that I recognized. And I was like, man, I'm partial to blame for that. And I told her my whole story about the pandemic and me putting my stresses off on her and her shutting down because of it. And she's like, it's okay. Everybody was stressed. You did your best. Don't beat up on yourself. But I was like, had I not inflicted or projected or put that off on my child, she wouldn't be struggling the way that she is in this area, because she's well above average in reading and comprehension. Like, she's off the scales. And her teacher was like, she's so, like, they put her, because she's so much further along than the second graders in her class, they put her in another small group with a teacher that works with more advanced reading kids. She's reading chapter books in second grade. Like, it's crazy. But you can't say that's your fault. Exactly, Sammy. I took fault to that. I was like, if, you know, me, I'm so hyper-focused now on not placing trauma or my trauma on my kids, because I don't want them to grow up with insecurities like I did, right? But I've already essentially done damage to my first child, I felt. And so I'm like, I got to take blame in this. So now when she brings her test home for math and she gets 16 out of 20, she be so nervous. She be like, Mommy, I tried my best. And I be like, it's okay. You did your best. That's all you can do. And that's all I expect of you, is to do your best, the best that you can do at all times. And I commend her, and I'm like, you got 4 wrong. That's okay. You can look at this. You can learn from this. And I said, the good thing about it, Leah, you're in school. And what's school for? For you to learn. You're not going to come in school and know everything. And then that would be that would defeat the point of going to school, because you already know everything, right? But you're going to school to learn. You're going to school to figure it out and make it make sense for you. So it's okay. So now I'm in a much better space than I was 3 years ago, and I have myself more regulated, that I know, like, it's okay, Portia. Don't put that perfectionist trauma off on her. She don't need that. She doesn't need that. You don't need to be perfect, but I do want you to have a level of excellence. I do want you to do your best. I don't want you to shy away from a challenge. And I don't care if the teacher say, that's a challenge, I don't have to do that, that's extra work. Try your best. Try it. Read through it. Let's work through it. Let's see if you can do it. See, that wasn't even hard. You could do it. Look at you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's levels to this, but I was glad that teacher told me that today. She's like, don't be hard on yourself. Like, it's my first time being a parent. Go.
I just wanted to say too, I love you talking about kids, and talking about parenting, because we don't talk about it as much because we try to keep everything in the house, behind closed doors, whether good, bad, or indifferent. But it's very important for us parents to be healed or be on a journey of being healed too, so we do not repeat those patterns that we saw in the past, whether it's from our parents or our other parents. So as for me, like I try not to do the things. My grandparents were wonderful people that raised me, but everybody has good and bad. When you apply those and recognize yourself, what you want to put on your kids and what they shouldn't have to take on, that's very helpful for yourself and for the kids as well. I realize, and I'll be transparent. Some days I am very short with my oldest child because I'm my middle child, because I'm like, you're the bigger sister to your little sister. And so I notice sometimes when I'm get frustrated or I'm overwhelmed, I'm raising my voice at her. Next thing I know, she raising her voice at her sister, and I got to check myself. We really have to really recognize what's going on within us and not inflict it on those babies, because they just learning from us.
And you get mad with her when she raising her voice with your sister. You be like, don't be hollering at my baby.
That's exactly.
And my baby, Leah be looking at me like, what am I? It's not that you're not my baby too, but it's like, but I have to check myself like, girl, she hollering because you be hollering. Calm down. Maybe if you communicate in a calmer manner, she would. Maybe she wouldn't, her fuse won't be so short because yours isn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is so crazy. But it's true. It's so true. Thank you all again. We are recapping episode number 20 of Life Be Life, a podcast. If you're unfamiliar, please go to the link tree in my bio. I am on all podcast platforms. And also, if you want to just see my beautiful face talking, I am on YT doing that on the podcast episode. This particular episode, my two guests are my babies, Leah and Micah. They were age 6 and 3 at the time we shot this episode. And I pretty much just interviewed them and asked them a list of questions about mommy. 22 questions to be exact, about how they felt about me, what they think make me happy, what they think make me sad, something I say all the time, things like that. And thank you so much. Thank you for joining, Mika. And they just really were being their pure, innocent selves, right? And it was really a joy. It was only like 30 minutes. I don't even think the episode was 30 minutes, child, because they was being kids. You know how kids, they can't sit still. So, but it was a really good episode. It was really cute. But it was just really good check-in. Like I said, what prompted this and why I felt it to be important to share with the world is because we need to check in with our kids. And we have recently left our home that they knew with their father. This episode title was, and then there were 3. It once was 4, and now it's 3 of us, right? And we left our home, and I moved in with my mom for 7 months. And then that was the first transition. And then the second one, moving into our own 1-bedroom apartment that I shared a room with them, something we had never done before. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, I wanted to check in with them and see what they thought of mommy. And I was curious, especially, like I said, what they believe my emotional health to be, in the best way that they could say, right? So something so simple as asking, what do you think makes mommy happy? What do you think makes mommy sad? What do you think, another question I asked was, I asked how old, I asked how tall I was. What do you think my favorite thing to do is? And that was really funny. I think Micah said something to the effect of sleeping. Ding, 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 ding. Not that it's my favorite thing, child, but you love to sleep. Like, you really see me sleep. Girl, you don't even be here to see me. Yeah, I mean, you be here, but she don't even be like, girl, I be up busy with you all the time. She said cleaning. Oh. And that was funny. Leah might have said sleeping. I don't remember, child. But yeah, she said cleaning too. And I was like, why you think I want to clean all the time? Baby, I don't want to clean all the time, but I would have to fuss at y'all to clean all the time because I want y'all to help me keep this house clean. But they think that's a favorite thing to do. Girl, I was like, no, that's not my favorite thing to do. But it's funny. It's super funny, and it was super cute. Another question that I asked them was, what do you think mommy does when you all are not around? So at this particular time in our life, thank God for my mom, who's in the chat. Shout out to mommy. She was helping to balance like what was happening by giving me relief on the weekend. So every Friday after school, the girls would go over to my mom's house. She would keep them Friday night, Saturday night, and I would pick them back up on Sunday. And typically, again, because I have my small business, I will have events on the weekend, or I'll be doing Uber Eats, trying to make extra money, you know what I'm saying, making ends meet, doing what, you know, what us women be doing, making it do what it do. And in the interim of that, they had their honey, so it wasn't like a big adjustment because they were used to pretty much going over my mom's house. Like my mom is one of those grandmothers that want her grandkids at all times, which I am grateful for. But I was like, if I don't bring them, she was like, "Girl, why you ain't bringing my babies? What's happening?" Because she ain't got much else going on by choice in her life than her grandkids. So that brings her joy. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. So it ended up working out because I was going through my healing journey and I needed time to myself to kind of like just, you know, refuel myself from the week of the hustle and the bustle from day to day of me being, she gonna say I have no social life. Lord Jesus. Don't be jealous. Mika said, yes, thank God for mama. Yes. But it really gave me time to just like woosah. I was purposeful about my self-care at that time. Like, even if I just wanted to lay on the couch and watch TV for the rest of the night, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I did. And it gave me space for that, right? Don't shade mama. I didn't shade her. She the one said she has no social life. She said it. Tempest Master, you be outside sometimes, child, sometimes, not all the time. I have to push her out the door. Anyway, and so, yeah, that time gave me, and so my kids, I think that might have been a question. She said, what you do when we're not around is sleep or whatever. But yeah, I was really just like taking care of me. But I was curious. They was like, you be here having fun or whatever, like little different things. They just really cute. I heard all about the man tripping. Wait, what? Tripping over you on the cruise though. Uh-oh. Not the cruise. Hey, Caster, how you doing? So yeah, another question the kids asked me, I asked the kids, I'm sorry, was if mommy becomes famous, what do you think it will be for? And this was just a cute little fun question or whatever, because Leah, first of all, let me tell y'all something. When I started this podcast and I was putting it on YouTube and stuff, the kids are aware of what YouTube is, like most kids these days. But they have kid YouTube on their iPad and it's monitored. So they don't get the access to the real YouTube that mommy be on. But anyway, they get to watch all the kids and do their little channels or whatever. And so Leah was like, when I had this podcast, she's like, "Mommy, you famous. And you famous because of the podcast. And we rich." And she started going around telling the family, we rich. And we rich. And I was like, well, from the mouths of babe, Lord, listen, the girl said we rich. I'm claiming it. I receive it. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. But baby, mommy know the reality. We ain't yielding nothing yet. But by God's grace, he will enlarge our territory, okay? But that baby think we rich. So she was like, it's, you know, the podcast and all that type of stuff, right? But they really think we famous because they see my, and even when my mom when they'll be at my mom's house, exactly, claim it, it's coming, amen, period. When they, my mom will be looking at my videos on social media, and they'll be like, "Mommy, we saw you live, or we saw your YouTube, your YT video, or we saw," like they be so excited, so excited. So they really think like we out here, and then especially when I make videos with them, I'll read the comments, like the Three Malaya Girls, that's one of our segments, and I'll read the comments to them, and they be like, oh my gosh, mommy. And then Leah really thinks this is her podcast, like for real. Like she thinks she's the star, period, point blank. She like, mommy, like this my, like they love when I'm here. Like, so of course this is your highest viewed podcast, because I was on it, duh. Like, I was like, you know what? You're right. You're right when you're right. You know I'm not the star of this family. You guys are. It is what it is. I'll take the back seat to y'all any day. Any day. So, she's right. She is right. She is right. They're amazing. They're amazing. So another question I asked them, what is your mommy really good at? I think they said cleaning again on that. And we was like, listen, Linda. Now don't get it twisted. Your mommy can clean. But also, why do y'all think that's all I do? Like, they just kept saying some of the same things, and it was really funny. Please don't forget to like the live. Yes, thank you, Sky, Lena. I love it. Thank you, Mika. Mommy said she told me I make a lot of money from YouTube. Exactly. Girl, listen. It's funny, the innocence of a child. So yeah, I think they said something about me cleaning again. And I said, what is mommy not so good at? And then they mentioned cleaning with that too. I was like, so how y'all gonna say one moment I'm good at cleaning, then the next moment, well, the clothes and the things, and I'm like, exactly. It's y'all. But also, no. I did talk about that in one of my podcasts as well. I forget which episode that was, but I basically talked about or spoke towards like how my depression would show up and how I know I'm in a depressive episode even when I'm not fully aware. But that's one of the ways I can recognize when I'm in a depressive episode. Clutter. Like it'd be a lot of clutter. It's like it's out of control for me, and I'll be like, stuff is everywhere, and yeah, I don't want my kids to grow up in an environment like that. I don't want them to think that's normal. So that's something I actively still work on. But that's a way for me to recognize like, hey, ma'am, you're having a moment. You're in an episode. And I'll be like, oh. And it's like, I don't realize as it's gradually happening. It's once it's all and I've lost control at this point. And I'm like, how the heck did we get here? But that's how my depression looks sometimes. So I understand what they meant by that for sure. And that's why I be so heavy on them. Like, hey, we gotta clean this up. We gotta do this, because I don't want them to pick up that habit and think. And I want to be clear too. It's not nasty or dirt. Like it's just clutter, clothes here, stuff here. That it's just stuff like that. But I don't want them to even think that, because for real, in my mind, I am super organized. It's so crazy because I spoke to my therapist about that before. It's like, I like things to be in order and to organize things a certain way. It's just how my mind is processed. But also because of my depression and my anxiety and stuff, I get overwhelmed very easily. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense to people. Mommy said they didn't know what to say. They were too excited at that point. They were excited the whole time, child. Blossom said, I understand and can relate. Yes. Blossom, tomorrow. That's Blossom's favorite thing to say. Tomorrow. Tammy said, I totally get that. It's how depression shows up for me too. Yeah. It's the weirdest thing. But when I want to organize and when I want to clean and do all that type of stuff, like, it's like it has to be in a certain order. It's just weird. But anywho, glad I'm not alone. And so another question I asked the kids. Oh, we almost done. Okay. Another question I asked the kids was, what do you think mommy does for work? And they was just like, girl, you be on that computer. And they know I work for a hospital. I think Leah spoke towards that. But she just like, you be on the computer doing stuff. I don't know. They don't know what the heck I do. You just be on that computer all day and you work all day. That's what you do. Clearly, I'm getting on their nerves, okay? trying to make a living so we can keep the lights on, have a roof over our head. They don't want to hear none of that. Another question I asked is, what's mommy's favorite food? I believe that's where Micah said Chick-fil-A. She's not wrong. I really love Chick-fil-A. I mean, it's not my favorite food, but I really love Chick-fil-A, and she does too. So that was just like, Chick-fil-A. Yeah, that sounds good. So that was that question. Another question I asked them was, what makes you most proud of mommy? And I really don't recall their answers. I think they spoke towards something like, I think they spoke towards something about me giving them hugs and showing them love, spending time with them, stuff like that. And of course that warmed my heart, right? It's the simplest things. It's not, they don't care about all that other stuff or, material things. It's not about none of that. They just want to be loved on and be in my space. My kids are super affectionate and they want to crawl in my skin if they could. And I love that, but also mommy be needing a moment. So but I'm glad that I make them feel proud that yes, they love me. Like, oh, my mama used to get so mad. Well, not so mad, but she'd just be like, ugh, like, y'all so annoying. But when Leah and me, when I used to go into the office to work, and Leah would be with her. This was before Leah went to preschool. I know exactly how that feels. She's like, girl. When Leah, this was before preschool, so this was like 1 or 2, because Leah went to preschool at 3. So we would be I would go to work. I drop her off with my mom in the morning, and I come back and pick her up when I get off of work. And when I come back to pick her up, first of all, I FaceTime my mama. Child, I was terrible as a first mom. I used to call my mom when I had to go back to work after 3 months. I used to call my mama, like, put the phone in her face. I want to see her breathing. I need to hear her. Like, I really had separation anxiety. And Leah was even worse. So when I did come around, even when she got a little older, every time I saw her, we would hug and embrace and kiss and hug and do all the things for like 20 minutes. My mom be like, here they go with their love fest. They gotta have their love fest when they see each other after me being gone for her for 8 hours or 9 hours a day. But I really just felt some type of way, like, oh my gosh, you spending more time with my mom than you spending with me, because even though I'm getting up at the crack of dawn, we driving an hour and a half to get to the job. To get to my mom's house, drop her off at my mom's house, and I leave, go to work, be there for like 9 hours because traffic coming back to my mom. Like, I just felt like terrible. Like, I gotta leave my baby and I just want to be with her all the time, and I'm missing precious moments because of this stupid job. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just really, it was a lot. I was just so dramatic, but mama would be like, y'all just do the most. But that's how me and my girls are. We are super affectionate, and they really be missing me. Like, a day doesn't go by without them saying, mommy, we miss you. I can go put the garbage in the garbage chute and come back, and the babies be like, mommy, we missed you. So, I wouldn't have it no other way, to be honest. And it just feels good to be loved by you. Okay. So it's a blessing. And I'm glad that they feel that way about me too. Every time I go on vacation or something, like I've been recently doing that, and they've just been having the hardest time, but they're so used to being with me. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? But also be like, girl, let it go. So anyways, another question, I'm almost done with these questions, and then we're going to get out of here. So another question I asked them was, I think, if I was a character, who would I be? I don't even remember what they said. Another question was, what do you all do together that you guys love? And I think that was more so spending time, us doing different activities together, whatever. They just love doing crafts, arts and crafts. They're very much like me in that way. I have to, Elroy. They're very much like me in that way. And listen, I told y'all before, I feel like I'm not too far removed from being a kid, my dang on self. So all the things that I love to do, I love to share that with them, right? So I'm very artsy, creative, things like that. So it's nothing for me to do that, but I also have to check myself, like, Portia, you're being impatient right now because they're not doing it perfectly with my knowledge as a 35-year-old woman. Like, be realistic. They're kids. They're going to mess up. They're not going to do it perfectly, whatever. So I be having to check myself a lot in those moments. But, child, these kids, they be wearing me out, okay? But yeah, anything dealing with spending time, they love to do that together. We watch movies, we pop popcorn, we go to get Slurpees, like any little thing, they're just all in. Another question was, how are you and mommy the same? I forget what their answers were with that one too, and I asked how we were different as well. Again, y'all can watch the episode to see their really innocent answers and things like that, but they said something really nice, I'm sure. And another question I asked was, how do you know mommy loves you? And they spoke towards, again, because I'm affectionate towards them and I'm always talking to them, and it's only 18 minutes. What's only 18 minutes? Huh? I'm confused. How do you know mommy loves you or whatever? And so they spoke towards that and stuff. And they like, you give the best hugs and all that type of stuff. So that's a very important question too, because sometimes the episode was only 18. It was like 30. I don't even know if it made it to 30, child. Them kids. But that's another important question I feel like is necessary to ask your children. Like, how do you feel love? Because it will speak towards their love language. Kids have love languages too. And we don't, as an adult, our love languages are built or based off of how we are as children, right? Right? We want more. We want more. Sky, thank you for the emotes. And so I think it's important to ask, and maybe they say, hey, I don't really feel loved when you do this. And you thinking you're doing your part as a parent by, well, when I do this, I thought I was showing you love, and they're not perceiving or receiving it as love. So that's a great question to ask. I'm going to ask my kids the same questions. Yes, great. That's amazing, Blossom. Let me know how that goes. I'm excited for you. Another question I asked them was, where is mommy's favorite place to go? Just trying to see how much they know about me. And I think Micah said Chick-fil-A again, and we bust out laughing because she was like, ooh, I know. Again, she's 3 at the time, so it's the cutest thing. She like, Chick-fil-A! And we just bust up laughing. And I was like, Micah, I'm going to need you to stop making it seem like I'm fat. Your mama does other things than eat. Damn. Oh, shoot. That baby was funny. Also consider their apology language as well. Yes, Kia. That is so true, Kia. I totally agree. That is very important, right? I apologize to my kids all the time. But yes, that is very important. This has low-key been a Chick-fil-A commercial. I mean, we should do a partnership or something, okay? Make it like, sponsor checks needed. Hello? For real. And Michael be like, Chick-fil-A. Anywho, that girl is hilarious. And I think Leah said, I forget what Leah said. I think it was something to do with, I don't know if it was my nails or hang out with my friends. She said something like that, which is cool because I pretty much let them know what I be doing for the most part. Like, oh, I'm hanging out with Auntie Kendra. Oh, I'm going to, be with Uncle Denton. Or, oh, I'm going, So they be knowing, but also they don't be really caring. They just be like, why are you leaving us? Okay, and Leah, that's her favorite thing now. It's not fair that you get to go hang out with your friends and we can't come. Well, you can't. It's grown-ups. It's not a kid event. So there's that. And the last question I asked was, how old do you think mommy was when you were born? And I think they said some high numbers, child. And I was like, no, I was 28 when I gave birth to Leah. And I was 31 how old am I now? 35. 31 when I gave birth to Micah. And they was like, what? What? Like, they were so shocked. Like, anyway. These kids are something else, y'all. The moral of the story is pray for me. I need y'all to pray for me. I don't feel like y'all praying hard enough. But these little girls are the light of my world. As y'all can see, I love talking about them, talking with them. They are amazing children. And even though I'm figuring out my footing as being a parent, and I've had my ideals prior to have my ideals prior to how I wanted to present as a parent, that's an ever evolving notion for me that I'm realizing. And I realize within my mistakes, I apologize to them daily when I make, not make them, but if they perceive me in a negative way and it makes them feel less than, or is speaking towards their self-esteem or self-worth, or because these are things that I'm currently struggling through and figuring out and now trying to build up within myself. So I'm purposefully making sure, overly trying to not pour those things onto them. So I'm doing the best that I can with the tools that I currently have, right? And that's all we can ever do. And I thank God that my parents did the best with what they had, right? Elroy said, when I said something wasn't fair to my dad once, he replied, who in the hell told you life was fair? Exactly. Mommy said they are awesome. They are such a joy. They really are the joy of my life. And I think that's the next episode. The next episode that I recap is talking about how I was forever changed by them, because literally my children have shaped this Portia. Prior to them, I had no responsibilities. I lived with my mom up until I was like 25 or something like that. And then even when I was on my own, my aunt and my mom and people were still helping me live, essentially, and I just had no care in the world. I was out here living my best life, traveling, doing stuff, and being irresponsible, staying up all day, 24-hour time. You know what I'm saying? Like drinking, having fun, being reckless. What you're supposed to do when you're a kid, or I was a girl. But I was in my 20s. But the point is, when they came into my life, it was a switch flipped for me. And I instantly... they became my everything. And I know that seems sort of unfair to them, because I don't want to be so dependent on them that I lose myself either. I don't want them to make up for the areas that I've messed up in, or me live my life vicariously through them. But I did make sure that I dedicated my life to them in such a way that they would never feel, well, not never, but I would do my best to not make them feel like how I felt as a child in some instances, right? And whatever they need, if they want to play piano today, I'm going to help them get in piano lessons. If they want to be in soccer tomorrow, I want to make sure that I'm supporting them, pouring into them. Whatever you want to do, you can do whatever. I don't care. You want to be a firefighter, you can be a firefighter. You want to be an astronaut, you can be an astronaut. If you want to be an artist, I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to support you. I'm going to stick beside you. You can always talk to me. If you want to talk about sex, if you want to talk about what love is, you want to talk about where babies come from, whatever you want to talk about, I don't care. I am here. I am your mother. I am your guide. I am your friend. I am all the things encompassing in one until you no longer need me. And that's really never. But I want to make sure that I'm building that foundation, that they feel safe with me. and don't feel like mommy's gonna judge me, or she's gonna punish me, or she's gonna mistreat me if I show up this way or do this thing, or she's gonna be disappointed. Like, and I try to tell them, don't worry about mommy being angry or mad. Be concerned with disappointing mommy, right? I need you to have a level of some sort of something that you like, okay, I don't want to let my mom down, because that's your job as a kid right now, but that won't always be your positioning. It's more so like within boundaries. I don't know how to express it, but that's how I tell them, like, don't be like, mommy's going to be so angry, she's going to be so mad. No, just think like, man, I really don't want to disappoint my mom, because I know she wants the best for me, right? I know she wants all the great things in life for me. So you know what? I'm going to make good choices, and I'm going to do better, because that's what she would want me to do. And I know she wants me to do that. And that's another question I ask. A bonus question real quick. I ask the kids all the time. God damn it. What was I about to say? I do this all the time. Another question I ask them all the time about, don't disappoint mom. Do you trust me? That's what I ask. She's gonna say, oh. Do you trust me? And most of the times when they're in their moments and they be like, no, I don't trust you, mommy. And I'm like, why you don't trust me? Have I given you a reason not to trust me? Right? And then they'll be like, no. And then I give them an example. When you needed this, didn't mommy come through for you with this? When you jumped, didn't mommy catch you? I've never given you a reason not to trust me. So if I told you this is something you need to do, if I told you that this is very important and this carries weight, and if you think about when it comes time for you to make that choice, even with being a kind person, when it comes time for you to make that choice, if you're going to be kind or you're going to be mean or dismissive, whatever, would that disappoint my mommy? Not because I'm afraid of her, but because she thinks so highly of me and she wants the best for me, and I trust her judgment. Because she's been on this earth a little longer than I have. Hey, John, how you doing? She's been, hey, handsome, how you doing? She's been on this earth a little longer. So I trust what she's telling me to be good and to be in good intentions and with purpose for the betterment, right? And so I ask them that all the time, and then that gets them to kind of like move forward and do something good or whatever. So that's another great question. Do you trust me? Do you trust me as your mom? Do you trust me in the position that I hold in your life, right? And I think these questions can evolve with them as they grow and as you grow as a parent, because we don't know everything. And when I think about me being 35 years old, raising a 7 and a 4-year-old, my mom was 20, 22 trying to raise me and my brother. Like what? Grace. Okay. I understand. Girl, I understand. Listen, because you don't know what you're doing. You really don't. And you're really flying by the seat of your pants. But thank God that he gave you such a gift. He entrusted this gift in your care, these babies. I really feel like he gave them to me to help me go forward in my healing journey. And I'm grateful. So let me get out of here because I'm already late. And I don't want to get fussed out. So before I leave, like I always end my podcast, again, this was episode number 20, titled, And Then There Were Three, about me and my 2 babies. I interviewed them on their perspective of me as their mommy after a lot of transition in our life. And I think it's time for, I can do it again. I can do another check-in next year because that was earlier this year. But anywho, yeah, I would encourage you all to do that with your children. Ask them some questions, things that you might want to know, just to get their point of view and see yourself through their lens, okay? And, allow them space to be honest and truthful with you, and don't get angry or upset with them, but also do some introspection after they give you their answers if they are not so nice, right? And you be able to, hopefully grow and evolve from that point, right? He gave them to you and the tools necessary to parent them. I know that's right, Elroy. Love this love tonight. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you all. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Thank y'all so much for being here on Life Be Life and Podcast. Please, if you have not subscribed to the podcast on YT, please go in my link tree, go over there and subscribe. Y'all can watch all of season 1. It's 24 episodes, and season 2 is premiering November 6th. We are less than a month away from season 2. I am super excited to let y'all in on what's currently happening in my life, and where I am in my healing journey. But like I end this podcast all the time, I'm going to end with my Speak Life affirmation segment. And for this particular episode, the Speak Life affirmation was, I must always embrace change to gain constant self-improvement. Again, today's Speak Life affirmation is, I must always embrace change to gain constant self-improvement. Now, y'all already know what to do. You heard it. You say it. You write it down. And remind yourself to speak that thing and make it happen, because life be life in us all. Thank you all again. I love y'all. I hope to see y'all again here next Tuesday when I go live. And we'll talk about episode number 21. But please go over to my YT, subscribe, help a girl out. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.